Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're ready to shift from just thinking about things to actually doing them, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're kicking off a journey to build your professional mindset. It's time to get down to business. So, I want to kick things off with a question for you. Right now, at this very moment, are you in idea mode, kind of just brainstorming and dreaming? Or are you in action mode, ready to get your hands dirty and make things happen? That leap from thinking to doing is what this is all about.
So, what do we actually mean when we say getting down to business? Well, it's that click, that moment you pivot and start focusing seriously on the work, on the goals, on the results. It's about really digging in to understand how businesses work and how they create something of value. This is the official flip of the switch from idea mode to action mode.
You know, every great story starts with a call to adventure, right? Well, if you're just starting your career, trying to understand the business world isn't just another subject to study, it's a real deal quest. So let's talk about why this particular journey really matters. So why should you take this journey? Well, for starters, it plugs you into the real world. It develops that professional way of thinking that's so crucial. It, of course, prepares you for amazing careers, but it also unlocks the door to maybe starting your own thing someday, entrepreneurship. And along the way, it builds the foundation for leadership. This is your first step to all of that. All right, every adventurer needs a map. You can't just wander into a new world without one. So in this next part, we're basically going to draw the map of the world we're about to explore, the world of business. Let's start charting the key landmarks. Let's break it down to its absolute core. What is a business? It's basically an organized effort, it's not random, to make and sell something, either a physical good or a service. And that something has to satisfy a customer's need. But, and this is the crucial part, it's all done with the goal of making a profit. See, without that profit motive, it's just a hobby or a charity. The whole package is what makes it a business. So, picture our map of the business world. It's basically split into two huge continents. Over on one side, you've got industry. This is the making stuff side of things. Manufacturing, farming, construction. Then on the other side, you've got commerce. This is the getting it to people side. It's the whole network that moves those goods to you and me, like transportation, advertising, and banking. Okay, we've got our map. Now you have to decide, what kind of journey are you going to take? This isn't just some boring list of business types. Think of these as totally different paths, each with its own unique adventure. There are really four main paths you can head down. You could go it alone, the classic solo adventure. That's a sole proprietorship. Or you could team up with someone for a partnership quest. If you're thinking bigger, you could form a company, a huge expedition. And for the really bold, there's the high-risk, high-reward quest of the startup, which is all about creating something brand new. Okay, no adventurer gets very far without the right tools. It's just not going to happen. And on your business journey, your toolkit has three absolutely essential items you have to master. These are management, marketing, and finance. So let's open up that toolkit and take a look at each one. First thing you pull out is your compass. That's management. And it's not just one thing. It's a cycle of 5 key functions that keep you pointed in the right direction. You have to plan where you're going, organize all your supplies, staff your team with the right people, direct them on what to do, and constantly control your progress to make sure you're still on track. A map is useless without a compass. All right, next up in the toolkit is marketing. This is how you communicate with the rest of the world. The go-to tool here is the classic 4 Ps. First, you've got to have a great product. Then, you need to set the right price. Next, you have to figure out the best place to sell it. And finally, you need promotion to let everyone know it even exists. Get one of these wrong, and the whole thing can fall apart. And look, don't ever underestimate marketing, because here's a hard truth in the business world. A great product with bad marketing often fails. I mean, you could invent something that could change the world, but if you can't tell its story and get it to the people who need it, it's just going to sit on a shelf. And last but not least in our toolkit, you need fuel for the journey. In business, that fuel is finance. It's money. You could use your own capital, which is great because you keep all the control. A bank loan gives you a boost, but you got to pay it back. Investors will give you money, but they want a piece of your company in return. And venture capital, well, that's like rocket fuel for startups, but it means giving up an even bigger piece of the pie. Understanding these choices is absolutely critical. All right, so we have our map, we've picked a path, and we've got our tools. But any good adventurer knows the world isn't static. The terrain is always changing, and there are rules you have to follow.
This part is all about navigating that environment. And, just as importantly, using your moral compass. See, no business operates in a vacuum. You're out there in the wild, and you've got all these external forces you just can't control. The economy goes up and down, technology changes overnight, new laws pop up, and of course, you've always got competitors. A successful professional isn't someone who avoids the storm, but someone who learns how to adapt and navigate through it. So, with all that chaos, how do you stay on course? Here is a huge professional tip for the world we live in today. It's not just about the money anymore. The best, most successful, and most respected businesses find a way to balance their profits with a real, genuine purpose. And that idea of purpose leads us right to ethics. Think of this as your personal code of conduct on this journey. It's about being honest, transparent, and fair in everything you do. This is your internal moral compass, and it's what builds the trust you need to have any kind of long-term success. And just like that, we're on the final leg of our journey. So, after mapping out the world, choosing a path, getting our tools, and learning the rules, what's the treasure at the end of the quest? It's you. It's your transformation into a capable, confident professional. What's cool is that this new mindset opens up basically 3 main paths for you to choose from. You could start a business, high risk, sure, but the income is based on profit. You could enter a profession where your investment is your education and you earn fees, or you could choose employment, low risk, and you get a steady salary. The key thing is you now have a way to think about which of these paths is the right fit for you. And maybe the most valuable treasure you've picked up along the way are these skills. We're talking about real communication, problem solving, solid decision making, leadership, knowing your way around finances, and being able to adapt to anything. These aren't just buzzwords, they're the real tools that make you a pro. This is the real reward. So I'm going to leave you with one last thought. This isn't the end, it's the beginning. The whole point is to start using this mindset right now. Start thinking like a professional today, because that is exactly how you become a leader tomorrow.